Well, hello everybody, welcome to the Monster Pattern Search demonstration video. My name is Alexander Nikitin. I am a professional trader and a developer of pattern search software. In today's video, I will talk first about the installation process, second, how to prepare your MetaTrader 4 platform, third, I will explain you the settings of Monster Pattern Search, and number 4, I will show you the historical performance of that. So, first things first, let's start with the installation process. You are given your files depending on the versions you have purchased, either Monster Pattern Search Automatic, Monster Pattern Search Manual, or Monster Pattern Search Pro, plus Pattern Trade Assistant. Download these files, save it somewhere, let's say on your desktop, copy them, and then open your MetaTrader, open File, open Data folder, open MQL4, open Indicator, and paste MPS files here. MPS Automatic, MPS Manual, MPS Pro, whatever you have. Then go to Experts, open Experts folder, and place Pattern Trade Assistant here. That's it, installation is done. Close your MetaTrader and open it once again. This way you will reload that. Once those manipulations are done, you will find your files under Navigator tab. It looks this way. Open Indicators or whatever, double click and you will launch the indicator. It will start working. Okay, second, how to prepare your MetaTrader 4 platform. Go to Tools, go to Options, go to Chart tab, you see that Chart tab, and here in Max Bars in History, enable the number of bars you wish to download. It will be needed if you want to do the backtest. So enable, let's say, 250,000 or whatever. 5,000 bars is not enough on 4 hour. It is only 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years on 4 hour. And of course, after you have downloaded that number of bars, whatever you have, enable the limitation of how many bars to be displayed in your window. So it should be optimal. If you want to do the backtest, then you should have large amount of bars to be displayed in the window, in the chart window. And if you don't want to do the backtest, if you only want to real-time trading, then maybe you don't need the software to analyze all that amount of bars, and you will make your computer a bit faster if you enable less bars. Next, let's talk about the settings. The Monster Pattern Search, roughly speaking, it is the combination of manual and automatic. The two main functions of Monster Pattern Search Pro are automatic and manual. Plus, Monster Pattern Search Pro has a backtest mode, and it has the custom pattern mode as well. Let's talk about automatic function. Launch this, forget about this initial settings. We have two things, two pattern here. We have advanced pattern section and we have harmonic pattern section. These are two different strategies. First of all, because advanced patterns are traded with limit orders, harmonic patterns are traded conservatively, you need to have some confirmation, and they are traded with market orders, and the identification rules are different, the trade management rules are different as well. So they are complete different strategies, and but they only look like two triangles connected on your chart. That's why plenty of guys out there simply mixing these two approaches, and that's why they neither have good performance here and neither have nor have good performance there. They are neither good in advanced formation nor they good in harmonic patterns, because they simply mix in two approaches. Okay, what can you do with those patterns? You can switch them to be displayed or not to be displayed, and the harmonic pattern is the same. Then you can change the color. Pretty good. Instead of attaching those labels that this pattern is a godly, this pattern is a bad, those text marks on your chart, I decided simply change the color of that and you will immediately recognize what pattern you have. If you have orange red, it is a godly, yellow it is a bat, magenta it is a cipher, and the gray it is a butterfly. I think it is a very good solution for that problem, because when you have those plenty of text marks on your chart, it looks messy. You don't see the price action behind them. What is the background? The background is actually whether your pattern is filled with color or not. Okay, so simple settings for the patterns. The patterns are drawn according to the identification rules displayed on my website. So you should go to www.ps-software.net, click that Learn the Patterns tab, and you will find those patterns. Click on whatever picture you are interested in on the diagram, and you will have the detailed description of identification, execution, and management rules. Okay, continue. What is this ATR? ATR is the method you apply to set the limitation on your XLA leg. If you don't know what is XLA leg, maybe you will have some problems. That's why first I recommend you to draw some to read some books about harmonic patterns. Trade What You See is a good book by Larry Pesavento. Harmonic Trade is also a good book, and also watch some videos on YouTube by Jason Stapleton and Akil Stokes, or the Trading Power team. It is also very helpful if you are a complete newbie and you don't know what is the XLA leg of the pattern. Okay, the XLA leg. This is the method you use to limit your XLA leg. You say it, my minimum XLA leg should be not less than 3 ATR, and it should be not more than 34 ATR. That's it. You can switch that to pips, and it will mean that your minimum XLA leg is not less than 3 decimal of pip, and your maximal XLA leg is not less than 3.4 pips. So why I say this to be a 3 decimal? Because I have 5-digit broker. I know that number 4 is my pip, and whatever is left is fractional of pip, decimal of a pip. So if you type simply 3, it will mean not 3 pips, but it will mean 3 decimals of pip. So keep that in mind. I prefer to have ATR because it is a dynamic. It is not as fixed in pips. For example, imagine that you have in pips, so you decide the minimum XLA leg to be 100 pips and your maximum XLA leg to be 500 pips. You see, this means 100, 500. It will be very good for 4 hours. Well, it may be very good for 1 hour as well, but for 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, this will be a pretty large range. So it is very unlikely that you will find any swings of 100 moves on 5 minute or 1 minute time frames. So, but if you switch that to ATR, you will have a dynamic. 3 ADR on 4 hour, it means the 3 average true range of 4 hour candles. 3 ADR on 1 hour, it means 3 average candles of 1 hour, like this. And so then you have a direction. Direction is this: bullish, bearish, or both. Pretty simple. Display bullish pattern, display bearish pattern, display both. Why do you need that? Well, maybe you trade only patterns that coincide with high time frame analysis, and you say your bias based on high time frame says that we are most likely to rise. Well, simply set to bullish, and you will have that. Multiplier. What is the multiplier? Multiplier explains the context. Let me briefly explain that to you. Then, what is the context of the pattern? I will draw the pattern first. It looks this way, yes? M type, whatever type. And the context is actually the previous leg of the pattern. So, what this means? Sometimes I see very, very many traders drawing patterns this way. So it is not actually correct. So this movement should not be considered a starting point. Why it is so? Look at this powerful uptrend followed by shallow retracement, no sellers here, and then powerful uptrend continue, and then all of a sudden we have deeper retracement, then all of a sudden we fail to install a higher high, yes, and then all of a sudden we actually make a lower low. What it means? We have three confirmations of uptrend to fade, die out. So will it be good to buy it in this case? No, it won't. Many times the pattern will go lower. Okay, so what I supposed to do, what I invented this multiplier. The multiplier is actually this previous leg compared to this. If you divide the XLA leg by this, you will have the multiplier. For example, if you say this previous movement should be at least 50%. You see that? 50% line. My eye is very correct. You will only have patterns that have the multiplier of 50%. You see? If you say, well, I don't want those patterns of 50%, I want to consolidating patterns. Why not? Pretty good. The range trading is very powerful for advanced and harmonic patterns. Yes, and you may say, you know what? I want these patterns to be a reversal patterns, like this. So those patterns will be actually double tops and double bottoms, also very powerful formations. You see that? So depending on this XA previous movement to XA, prior to XA, you can set this. By default it is set to 0.3, it means 1/3. So it should be not less than 1/3 of XA. So this means this, something like that. It should be not very small of this kind. It should be at least 1/3, like that. So the X point is quite prominent. Okay, let's go back to the settings, and then you have swing identification algorithms. You have 4 automatic swing identification algorithms. They are based on fractals. That's why you have small fractal based, medium fractal based, large fractal based, and extra large fractal based. So you shouldn't mix them. You shouldn't confuse this swing identification algorithm with the size of the pattern. It is a bit different. You may have a small fractal based algorithm, but the pattern will be large. You see? The pattern will be large. The limitation for the size of the pattern is this minimum and maximum ATR or pips size of XLA Leg. And vice versa, you may have a large fractal, yes, but the pattern will be small. During some consolidation periods we have that stuff. So the algorithm and the pattern size is not equal. They are simply algorithms. Okay, now what else? And drawing price. The reversal zone, the place where you have your entry and your stop loss, is either displayed as lines, as triangles, or as what is this, prices. Let me start, let me launch this finally. Let's go. Okay, now you see that lines, you see this? Entry and recommended stop. The stop loss is based on ATR, average true range. Average true range for this chart, for the whole number of bars in this chart, I calculated the average true range, and it says the ATR below X is this. The ATR above X is this. What is the ATR? It is average true range, one average candle above X. It is enough to understand that your analysis was not correct and your X point was broken. So you simply get out. You don't need the larger losses. See, it is pretty simple. ATR is the stop loss. But if you use, let's say, 113 method, then you may use it to whatever. 113, it almost coincides with ATR, but it is a bit smaller in this case. You should also note that the larger is your pattern, let's say you have this some enormously large pattern, something like that, yes, and the ATR will be closer to X, relatively closer if compared to that pattern, yes. And the smaller is the pattern, the larger is your risk, because the pattern is very small. It consists only, let's say, of 3 candles, and you are risking 1 candle more, 1 ATR above X. So keep that in mind, that ATR is not that dynamic as 113, but it is pretty good to confirm the breakout of your X point. Okay, now let's go further. That's all about the automatic functions. It draws patterns automatically. As you can see, doesn't care if the pattern completes or not. Let me only show you this way. Let me first draw the prices. I will demonstrate it to you. And instead of lines, you have prices. It may be a bit more comfortable for you to set the trades. And let me switch some patterns. Let me disable advanced patterns. You see that? Disable advanced patterns. And let me enable harmonic patterns. So you will see the difference. Crab, let's say deep crab. Some of them, alternative bat, and shark pattern, something like that, randomly trying to use them. You see that this pattern is not a bat pattern anymore, it is a godly. First of all, this pattern is a godly as well. This pattern is a shark, it's not a cipher. You see the completion goes deeper. And this pattern is a butterfly. You can see that previous butterfly was a loser, and this butterfly looks like a winner. Yes, it was a winner. So you see the 3 prices, they are confluence of prices as a standard with harmonic approach. It is actually the XA is gray, the AB equals CD pattern, the harmonic movement is blue, and this green means the inversion. The B2C inversion. If they line up together, indicating to some zone, this is a powerful indication. So if we switch that to rectangles, let's say 2, yes, we type 2 PRZ, it will be drawn as a rectangle. So you can see that it will be a bit better for you to draw it as rectangles. Okay, the terminal price bar is this one. You can see it clearly, the last bar that completes the pattern, the last bar that hits that. Then you have that indecision candle, spinning candle, or whatever you call it, and then you have one candle of confirmation. So maybe you enter here at market, and your targets will be placed this way. You enter at this close. Your stop loss is 61, target 1 is 83, target 2 is 156. So depending on your approach, I simply demonstrated to you the harmonic pattern. Okay, here you have that shark number 2. It didn't work this way, but if you switch it was shark number 1, sorry. If you switch that shark number 2 and disable shark number 1, just not to have that mixture of them both, you will have it. You see that? Shark number 2 is displayed here. Here it is, shark number 2. What is next? What is next? Okay, that's it about the advanced patterns, harmonic patterns, about the automatic function. Now let's go to manual functions. Let me enable that. Manual indicator. The same limitations. ATR, direction is both, maybe bullish, bearish, whatever you want. The color. This is the color of your helping lines. It is black and it is false. Let me show it to you how it works. First of all, you need to switch your drawing method into true or false, and you have two drawing methods. The standard one is C on your keyboard. Press C on your keyboard and the drawing method begins. X to A, click on the points you want to check, and if it is good, the pattern is drawn. Press S on your keyboard and the pattern is deleted. Okay, and the diagonal method of drawing, press A on your keyboard and you can connect C and X and the pattern will be drawn. Okay, so now let me go back to this here, and the color is black. If I change it to blue and if I change this to true, we will have it this way. Maybe a bit more friendly for you if you like it. X to A, you see, this is blue. And let me go here, enable this true. What changes we have? X to A to B. It looks this way. Maybe it will, you will find it better. So okay, next, you can draw whatever pattern. It's not mandatory that you draw the patterns only this way. Yes, like this. You may draw the pattern this way as well. So that's why it is a manual function. You say, well, you know, we have a high, let me place it here, and so on and so forth. What else is there in the manual function? The patterns are absolutely the same. You can switch them as well to harmonic or to advanced, the same settings here. The only difference is the method of drawing. The patterns are not drawn automatically, but they're drawn with your help. You trust your eyes, you show the swings to this, and as you grow as a trader, your swing identification becomes better and better and better. You master your support resistance recognition. Then you may draw better patterns. Why not? Okay, that's it about manual function. Now let's go into Pro. As I told you, the only difference in Pro is that it has the backtesting mode and it has the custom pattern. Here it is, pattern number 13, custom Gartley. This is the only difference. First, let me explain you the backtesting mode. You only need to set the number of bars to be analyzed. I know that I have 5,000 bars on my history because of the limitations that I set myself. Let me analyze 4,500. Yes, so this will be my backtesting, and then I can change this algorithms, the settings that we just discussed previously. Okay, here are the patterns, and if we scroll into history, you see that we have a Gartley, it was a loser, we have a butterfly, another Gartley, and another butterfly. So we see patterns on history. As I told you, the consolidation periods are pretty powerful for patterns, so when we enter the consolidation, the patterns are working the best. So this is the bat winner, Gartley winner, another Gartley winner, and so on and so forth. Okay, so a winner followed by a loser. As you can see, the software doesn't care if the pattern triggers or not. It does not take these extremes that appear on the chart. It calculates the entry. This is the difference of my software if compared to other. So it only calculates the entry. It doesn't take them from the history. Pretty simple to, if you take the reversal points from your history, it is pretty simple to draw the patterns that only work, that only reversed at some point, but it is useless for real-time trading. How do you know if it will reverse? Let's say the pattern is looking this way. How do you know that it will reverse here? Let me find some pattern that is only forming. Make it 500. That is only forming for now. And let me set the prices. I got used to prices. Okay, now we have some prices. only forming, something that is only forming. So we have a cipher. Yes, first we missed it barely. Yes, but right now, well, depends on your rules. You can enter that. You can enter this cipher weekly, maybe. It works whatever time frames. It doesn't matter. Monthly. Okay, right now we have a pattern and it started to run. We had this larger, but it, well, doesn't seem to work. Oh, no, it didn't hit the stop loss yet. So the first butterfly, the second butterfly, okay, it also didn't hit stop loss. Now it reversed. So we have the potential of rising based on butterfly analysis. Okay, the 382 is hit. Then it may go to 618 or it may reverse. So larger enormous targets of, what was that? 800 pips if you trade monthly. Pretty cool. Okay, let me, I was looking for some pattern that is only appearing right now. Oh, smaller bet on 15-minute bet winner. Something that is only setting up. Well, that's losing pattern. Well, doesn't seem that we have something on this pair, and it doesn't matter. Okay, so if I maybe find some other pair to demonstrate you that it draws patterns on history, not on history, real time. What is this? Maybe large. Reset that. Okay. Here's the patterns. We have 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour. Yes, you see that? Something that is a setting right now. You don't know if price will ever go here, and you don't know if price will ever go here, lower. If it goes lower, you are ready to buy it because of butterfly. If it goes higher, you're ready to sell it because of butterfly as well. You see that? How it is drawn. It doesn't take the price. You have all the time in the world. The patterns are drawn in advance. Okay. What else? Custom Gartley. I promised you to show you the custom Gartley function. Let me disable all other patterns so we don't mix them together. This custom Gartley feature is only available in Pro function. Okay, you should first switch that to true, like this. Set your color. Okay, let it be black. Custom Gartleys are black. Background is either you fill the triangles or not. You set the ratios. The minimum size of B point is, let's say 382, but you can change it. The maximum size of B point is 786, but you can change it as well. The C point, you can change it here, you can change it here, and the completion is the XA size. It may be 786, or it may be 127. Why not 127 too? The completion of your pattern. If you think it will be working better this way, it will be working better this way. Okay, the 127 completion goes here. You can see it this way. The 127 completion goes here. It is black, and the recommended price is here. You see that? The recommended entry is here. It is gray, the recommended entry. Okay, why do I have it this way? Why do I have it this way? Let me show it to you. Simply because of those Gartleys, 786. Simply because of those Gartleys. You see those black is the entry, yes, as I told you, it is the entry. And we know that 786 is a powerful level, and sometimes if price touches 786 and hits some targets, and then it comes back to the recommended entry, this is the entry where you have your targets at least equal to your stop loss. So this is your initial target, yes, like this. You set it 54 something versus 87. But as price goes deeper, deeper and deeper, yes, you may have a reversal here. And in this way you have 54 versus 54. At least you have 1-to-1 even in the worst case scenario reversal. But if you enter here, yes, you see that it turns into something different. Initially you had 89, but in worst case scenario, when price reverses here, your target turns into 20. 89 versus 20. So if you consistently enter at 786, your risk to reward is mostly negative. That's why I added this recommended. So using that recommended level, you will have the best risk to reward. The minimum requirement to have at least 1-to-1 in worst case scenario. You can see that, yes. But you can set it to your preference. You can set this to your preference. Okay, the recommended entry is the gray. Let's go into history. Let me enable something, some patterns. 4,000, yes. Let's see how custom Gartleys perform on history. Well, it doesn't seem to work. It worked from 786, but it didn't go to recommended entry. If you trade it from 786, it worked pretty good. Here it is. It worked from 786. Maybe you should trade it from 786, maybe not. I'm not the one to give those advices to you, if you should do something or not. The decision is up to you. Here it is. It works from 786 and even higher, so you have a larger risk reward, greater risk reward. It works from 786, then it works from your level. It works from both levels here. It works from both levels here, almost from both. You see, it didn't hit that entry. It works from the 786, but then it doesn't work from the second level. Okay, maybe you can say everybody, major players already took targets and nobody's entering this pattern anymore. So you can see that custom Gartley is pretty, it may be pretty powerful tool for you, for your trading. Didn't hit the stop loss, you can see that. Maybe. Because you are to master the patterns, you have to do the backtest, you have to calculate, you have to do the hard work. And once the hard work is done, the trading is simple. Okay, now let's go to historical performance of the patterns. And I will show you my Excel spreadsheets. And it is called Backtesting Pro. The Backtesting Pro is the Excel spreadsheet that shows you the accuracy of different patterns using different swing identification algorithm. Mostly they are large and medium patterns analyzed on 4-hour and 1-hour charts on 17-year periods. I calculated the number of winners, calculated the number of losses. The winner is the pattern that hits the at least 382, and the loss is the pattern that hits stop loss, of course. So simply calculated how many patterns doing that backtesting using my software. So you can see the Aussie-Canadian pair. Yes, not very many patterns found on the 4-hour, but you see these green things. It says, well, maybe you should not trade these patterns on this pair in this time frame. You see these things are using this algorithm, finding these patterns. You say, well, maybe you should not trade in them using this swing identification algorithm. By the way, you know that you can attach as many indicators as you wish. One of them is running large, yes. Another one, let's say, is running small. You see that? And so on and so forth. As many patterns as you wish will be displayed. And another one is running medium. So it is absolutely flexible what patterns will be displayed on your chart. And if you base your decision on the Excel spreadsheet on the backtesting, you say, well, you know what, I don't want large swing identification algorithm to work on this pair. I want medium. Medium is good. aside from ciphers, aside from let's say Gatlis, bats, ciphers and butterflies are pretty good, and the best of them is the cipher. And the same backtest was done with Euro Yen, Aussie Yen. This way you can do the optimization. You see that? 4-hour time frame performance, 1-hour time frame performance. The Gatlis 66%, 64%. The large swing identification algorithm 64%. Cipher 55, not bad. Butterfly 51. Well, don't trade large butterflies. That's it. This is the answer to your questions. Why my patterns don't work? Because large butterfly is not very good on Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen is a bit strange pair. It has its own personality. But Gatlis 68%. It loves Gatlis. Gatlis work best on Aussie Yen. 1 hour, 4 hour, not 4 hour. 1 hour is pretty good. Whatever algorithm you take, medium or large, it works pretty good. And then in this I just did the total calculation for the patterns, and what is above 55% accurate, I say okay, simply enable that 55% accurate, the total, and that is less than that. And I did that on 10 pairs. You see the sample size of total patterns found: 1,200, 1,200, 1,100, 1,100. You see this? Pound yen, pound dollar, New Zealand dollar, simply dollar Canadian, dollar yen. You can see the performance. Let's go to diagrams. So the diagrams. What if you only trade large patterns? You see, if you trade them on all pairs, you have 54% accurate. If you trade large patterns on some pairs that performing best, you can that are performing more than 55, you can reach up to 62. Great improvement. You see this? The same with bats. If you trade on all pairs large bats using large swing identification algorithm, you have 57, but you can improve it up to 60. It is called optimization. The same with patterns. And another pair performance is calculated this way. If you take Aussie Canadian, and within this Aussie Canadian you only trade those patterns that perform in more than 55%, yes, more than 55% based on this, you will have on average this 57% average patterns if calculated together. With Aussie Yen you can see it is working regardless of anything, from 60 to 61, not a very not the greatest performance on world, yes, but you can optimize that. You just trade some patterns on one pairs and don't trade on another. You just switch the algorithms, trade small patterns, small algorithm on one pair and a large algorithm on another pair. Why is that important? Because guys, pairs are different. Some pairs are very choppy, they are moving sideways, like dollar Canadian, Aussie Canadian. They are mostly consolidating, and the swings are pretty large. And other pairs, let's say Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, Euro Yen, they are more likely to trend, they are more likely trending, and the swings in these trends are very small. So you have small retracement and the trend continues, another small retracement and the trend continues. So maybe you should use some smaller swing identification algorithms in these pairs. Every pair has its own personality. You have to do the backtesting to know this, to know these intricacies, to know these details. So this is a simple backtesting. I did it, and it took me about a month to backtest them all. Simply to write them down and calculate this backtesting results, it took me 4 months. And using my software. The software displays the patterns automatically. You don't need to identify manually. If you do that manually, it will take you for years to find those thousands and thousands and thousands of backtesting patterns. If we go here, I have found 11,000 of patterns. 6,000 of them were winners, 5,000 of them were losers. With total accuracy, if you trade all the patterns regardless of whatever, 56%, and optimized accuracy being 59%. So 59% is pretty good result, especially if your risk reward is greater than 1-to-1. 59% is good. Okay, that's it about my performance that I have with this software. Guys, the current version is 3.9, as you might have noticed. If you have the versions that are lower, the Monster Pattern Search Pro, I remember the last version was 3.5. So contact me via email and request for the update if you need this update. Maybe you don't need this and you'll say, okay, you know what, the previous version is working okay, it is stable and it is good. I don't know, I don't want this new version. Maybe it is your preference. Just ask me for an update. If you have manual, I don't remember what was the latest manual, maybe 3.8, and automatic also was 3.8, the latest version of automatic. Well, just request for that version as well. Update it for newest if you wish that. Contact me via email and ask me for an update. Then I will give you the instructions of how you can get it. It is absolutely free for you. Well, that's it. If you want to learn more about this software, visit my website www.ps-software.net and let me type it in. PS Software. www.ps-software.net. Here is my website. You can find the software, you can find the videos, free videos, you can find that you can find the rules for pattern identification, trade execution and trade management. Well, until then, good luck and good trading. Hope to see you soon.